John F. Kennedy warned in 1960, "A society whose young men and women sleep will never realize its potential. If there was ever a time to wake up, it is now." Because in the Kadiogo region, just outside Ouagadougou, one audacious project has quietly switched on, and it could flip a nation's destiny. What if a single factory could end decades of dependency? What if a single decision, made far from the podiums and palaces, could redraw the map of power, dignity, and pride? In Kadiogo, a Burkina Faso woman billionaire has unveiled Africa's largest rice processing plant, with a capacity to handle 400 tons every single day. Even President Ibrahim Traoré, the continent's loudest voice for food sovereignty, didn't see this exact scale coming. Could this be the turning point that ends Burkina Faso's reliance on imported rice and ushers in a new era of self-reliance? Let's find out. The announcement didn't thunder from the presidency. It arrived like a drumbeat in the distance. First a whisper from Kadiogo, then a rising chorus sweeping markets, taxis, and tea stalls. A woman often admired for wealth but never regarded as a political force has placed steel, skill, and faith on the table. The result? A facility so large and so precisely engineered that it doesn't just join the country's industrial landscape, it reshapes it. For years, ships from Asia delivered bags that became daily staples in Burkina Faso kitchens. Every sack was a reminder of a gap between what the land could grow and what the nation was forced to buy. Now, an industrial behemoth stands on home soil, promising to flip that equation. But what makes this plant different from any other mill scattered across the continent? The answer isn't just size, it's system. Step through the gates of the Kadiogo rice plant, and the logic is immediate. This is not a warehouse, it's an ecosystem. The process runs like a single breath. Clean, wash, mill and sort, seal and store. An integrated chain designed to convert a farmer's harvest into shelf-ready premium rice. Trucks rumble in with freshly cut paddy. The grain is cleaned, dust, stones and impurities removed in minutes. Conveyors carry it forward for a deep wash that doesn't just lift dirt. It guarantees uniformity, the very quality critics once said African rice could not match. The grains then enter polishing lines, emerging with a gleam that signals reliability to buyers from Ouagadougou to Abidjan. In the milling halls, automated, systems separate broken from whole with surgical precision. Nothing is wasted. Broken rice is bagged for markets that prefer it. Intact kernels are graded by size and weight, ready to wear the label Burkina Faso Premium. Packaging seals the transformation. No more rope-tied sacks and fading stamps. The rice leaves the plant sealed, printed, and proud. A product with dignity, built to meet international retail standards. Behind the scenes, energy-saving systems and airtight silos keep quality consistent, stabilize supply, and extend shelf life. And because post-harvest loss has long been the silent killer of African agriculture, the plant is designed to stop waste cold, temperature control, continuous flow, storage that protects value. But the most powerful machinery here isn't stainless steel. It's human possibility. Meet Adama, a rice farmer who has survived more bad seasons than he cares to count. In the past, he gambled with every harvest. Will the buyer come? Will the price collapse? Will the grain spoil? Now, Adama holds a contract. He knows exactly where his rice is going and what it will earn. He is planning forward. More land this year, 2 seasonal workers on salary, a small loan for better seed, and fertilizer. For the first time, his children's school fees are not a question mark. Meet Awa, who once sold tomatoes at a roadside stall. Today, she works in quality control inside the plant. Steady pay, training, a career path. Her cooperative used to accept whatever middlemen offered. Now their rice leaves this facility with international-grade branding, and Awa's signature on the batch report is a promise the market believes. This is how sovereignty becomes personal. Steady income, formal work, skills that stick. The plant is not just processing rice, it's producing technicians, machine operators, logistics coordinators, maintenance specialists. Young people who once dreamed of leaving are discovering reasons to stay. Around the plant, new services spring up. Transport fleets, uniforms, tools, food stalls, repair shops. It's not a factory in a field. It's an industrial heartbeat pulsing through a community. Schools in nearby towns report better attendance as parents catch up on fees. Local markets are livelier. Clinics see improvements in nutrition. What started as an investment has begun to weave itself into social fabric, with women and youth at the center. And politics? Power always follows production. From the day he took charge in 2022, President Ibrahim Traoré promised that sovereignty would start with food. Critics asked for proof, steel, not speeches. This plant answers. It aligns almost perfectly with his message. Sovereignty is something ordinary people live, not slogans they repeat. Even if the initiative is private, it lands as a public milestone. Evidence that Burkina Faso can build without permission slips from abroad. Regionally, the timing is electric. The Sahel is redrawing alliances and asserting independence. In that context, every act of self-reliance is political currency. A Burkina Faso facility reaching this scale, without Western aid logos, without conditional lending, sends a blunt message. Capacity is homegrown. International observers must recalibrate. The old narrative, instability without progress, no longer fits. A new one emerges, stability through production. There's also a truth worth celebrating. The driving force behind this project is a woman. In a space where power has too often been coded male, this becomes a signal flare. Sovereignty is not a uniform. It is a collective. Women, youth, farmers, engineers, pulling in the same direction. But momentum invites responsibility. Government. Policy now faces a delicate test. How to integrate this capacity into a national food plan without appearing to outsource sovereignty to billionaires. The answer is framing, not a vanity project, but a node in a national network. Contracts with cooperatives, predictable floor prices, transparent quality standards, investment in feeder roads and irrigation. Done right, the plant becomes a cornerstone, not an outlier. And beyond Burkina Faso, consider the continental stakes. Africa is the world's largest importer of rice, despite its land and labor. Bills paid to ports thousands of kilometers away could finance schools, roads, and clinics here at home. Dependency exposes households to global price shocks that no farmer in Ouagadougou can control. The Kadiogo model breaks the spell. It proves that local production can be scaled to international standards, that quality and uniformity are not foreign traits, but engineering choices and disciplined process. Imagine regional integration built around this idea. Plants like this, one in Kadiogo for rice, groundnut processing hubs in Senegal, cocoa upgrading in Côte d'Ivoire, maize capacity in Tanzania. Not abstract summits, concrete infrastructure that keeps value circulating within West and Central Africa. The logistics, routes would change. So would the stories we tell about ourselves. Still, inspiration isn't enough. 3 commitments will decide whether this becomes a blueprint or a beautiful exception. Policy courage. Governments must back local processing even when it disrupts comfortable import chains. Patient capital. African investors must put money where their hearts are, into long-term industries that compound dignity and returns. Citizen pride. Consumers must choose locally processed goods not out of charity, but out of confidence in their quality. If these align, the numbers will follow. Fewer dollars bleeding out for imports, more families buffered against price spikes, more youth trained for work that cannot be offshored. The plant in Kadiogo is a mirror held up to the continent. The reflection asks a simple question. Do we believe in what we can build? Let's return to where we began. Kennedy's warning was not about sleep. It was about potential. Potential wakes when people do. A farmer with a contract, a technician with a toolbox, a woman signing off on quality that travels across borders, a president whose rhetoric meets reality in grain and steel. One facility cannot carry a country, but it can prove a point. It can turn a slogan into a shipment, a promise into a paycheck, a hope into a habit. It can show that sovereignty is not loud. It is steady, day after day, ton after ton. So here is the task before us. Clear, practical, urgent. Produce, process, and protect value at home. If Burkina Faso can host Africa's largest rice plant, then larger economies have no excuse. Build the chains, train the people, close the leaks, tell a new story, and make it true. Will this be the spark that ends the continent's rice dependency? Will more African billionaires invest at home, not abroad? Will governments stand firm when import lobbies push back? The future will answer. But in Kadiogo, the machines are already humming, and somewhere in Ouagadougou, a child eats rice grown by a neighbor, processed by a cousin, certified by an aunt, and sold under a name that finally feels like our own. Wake up, the work has begun.